Dear students, this is Manoj Kushwaha, and today we will study a brief about the load flow studies and how the buses are classified and what is the basic equation used in load flow studies, as well as what are the specified quantities at the buses. So we will start from the analysis of the load flow. What actually is the load flow analysis? You can think of it, and you will find that a load flow study is the analysis of an electrical network carried out by an electrical engineer. The purpose of this load flow study is to understand how the power flows around that electrical network, which is carried out by the electrical engineer, so that a better design of electrical system can be done. So you can see the things here which I have written here, just as load flow studies determine if the system voltage remains within the specified limit under the normal condition or under emergency operating condition, and whether the equipments such as transformers or conductors are overloaded or not. So basically the load flow study is used to optimize the circuit loading and its component. We can also say that a load flow study is giving us the most optimized idea of any power system network. So for this, understanding how the power flows is crucial to the design of any system. For example, suppose there is a radial system. Often no formal load flow study is carried out there, but invariably it is part of any analysis carried out during the design of the system. Let us say for large power distribution systems. So for these, a formal load flow study is to be carried out, which is necessary, typically using different kind of softwares. Transmission line softwares are there, load flow softwares are there. Primarily, I must say primarily the load flow study investigates the real and reactive power flow in the power system network. So all these things is written here, and one more thing I would like to say that while carrying out a load flow study, it is necessary to mathematically describe the electrical network first and then carry out the calculations to obtain the desired result. The equations which we obtain in the load flow studies are of nonlinear type, so the solution of these equations is also very important, for which we use many techniques such as Gauss-Seidel method of solution, Newton-Raphson method of solution, and so many other techniques in which some approximations are also done. Mostly we can say that iterative techniques are used to solve these load flow equations, and when we get a desired result or within a desired limit we obtain our solution, then that will be the actual solution of the power system components. Here you can see the basic representation of an electrical network is given like this. You can see it here, that is Y into V equal to I, where Y is the admittance, and if we are talking about a number of bus bars in an electrical system, for example, let us say if there are n bus bars, then a matrix must be formed, that is admittance matrix, which we will discuss later on in another video. Here you just assume that an admittance matrix is there which is having n into n size, and as you are seeing here, the equation will be like this: Y into V equal to I. V is the voltage, whereas I is the current, which is also written here for n bus system. Admittance matrix is there, and a matrix representing the various node voltages, or you can say bus voltages from V1 to Vn is there, and also the current, which is shown as I1 up to In here. And you must know it very clear that admittances, voltages and currents all are complex quantities. Here you can also see that power, that is S equal to Vi. S is actually the complex power. You can see it here. S is complex power, and that is equal to V into I complex conjugate. Rather than taking S equal to Vi, we are using for complex power S equal to V into complex conjugate of I, this, which is very important. And you may think why it is so, why not Vi, why we are taking complex conjugate of I here. It can be solved by the following method, so that you can know why the complex conjugate of I is taken here while calculating the complex power. Suppose V is equal to V e to the power j theta and I equal to I, that is, you can take it as mod e to the power j, let us say that is phi you are taking here. So V equal to V e to the power j theta and I equal to I e to the power j phi you are taking here. So if you get P power, then how will you calculate it? P is simply written as P equal to, if you are taking P equal to Vi simply, then power Vi will be Vi and e to the power j theta plus phi. You can see it here. From this, suppose this P is actually the power I am writing here. don't confuse it with the active power. Now as you are saying that power is Vi e to the power j theta plus phi, if we separate it in real and reactive power, then we will find real power P, how much it will be. From that, which I have written earlier, you will get it equal to Vi cos theta plus phi. As you are seeing this is not giving you the desired result, because you know what is the active power or real power, that is P equal to Vi cos theta minus phi, where cos theta minus phi is also the power factor. So what we have assumed means, if we are taking the exact values of V and I and try to calculate the power, then we will get Vi cos theta plus phi. Now if we are taking the complex conjugate of current, then you will see that we will get V equal to, since this is V and I complex conjugate, that will be equal to I e to the power minus j phi. Now if we want to have complex power now, that is V s equal to Vi equal to this complex conjugate, then you will get Vi cos theta minus phi. So complex power is Vi cos theta minus phi plus Vi sin theta minus phi. So this will be the complex power. Now if we separate the complex power in terms of real and reactive power, we will find now the real power will be P equal to P real equal to Vi cos theta minus phi, which is, we all know that, correct. So I hope now you understand why we are taking the complex conjugate of I to calculate the complex power. Now the next thing which we will discuss now is the buses. What is the bus and what are the role of the bus in any power system network. And as you are seeing here, you can see it here, before discussing the bus, or which we call node, we must know that there are four basic quantities which are specified at any bus. These four quantities are: 1. Active power, 2nd. Reactive power, 3rd. Voltage magnitude, and the 4th one is the phase angle of the voltage. So these are the four quantities on any bus, and we have to analyze these quantities on any bus. So if we are talking about what is a bus again, then you can say a bus is a node where a line or many lines are connected, and also many components such as loads and generators are connected. Why it is called bus? The question is why it is called bus? This is called bus because it is used to transfer current from one circuit to another circuit in the power system network. I have already told you that each bus or node is having four quantities, that is P, Q, V and delta. In a specific load flow study, out of these four quantities, two quantities have a definite value, while the other two, which are not definite, are determined by calculating the power flow equations. So the unknown and known variables are not fixed and vary depending upon the type of the bus. It means buses can be classified on the basis of these four quantities, means P, Q, delta and V. Now we will classify the buses here. Basically there are three types of buses. One is known as generator bus, which is also known as PV bus or voltage control bus, we can also say it, because in this bus P and V, these two quantities are specified, and the remaining two quantities means reactive power Q and the angle delta are to be determined, which are the variables. A generator bus is called generator bus because it is connected with the generating system, means generators are connected with this bus, that is why it is called generator bus. The next bus, which that is the load bus. Why it is a load bus? Because the load quantities, which are active power and reactive power, means P and Q, are specified here, so it is also known as PQ bus. It means the unknown variables on these type of buses are voltage V and its angle delta, which will be calculated with the help of load flow equations. Load bus is that bus on which no generator is connected. The third bus which we will talk about is slack bus. Actually there are only two types of buses. One is generator bus, second one is load bus. In a broader way, if we think about the power system, sections. So what is a slack bus? Slack bus is also a type of generator bus, and it is often called as a reference bus or swing bus. Why it is called a reference bus? This is called a reference bus because here we take the reference voltage, and that is mostly in the power flow solution we take it as 1 unity. This slack bus is also known as swing bus. Why? Because at this bus the reactive power is varying in nature depending upon the losses in the system. This is also called slack bus. The literal meaning of slack is looseness. So where is this looseness? This is not a rigid bus, this is a loose bus. It means the power here is not of a fixed value. It is depending upon the complex losses in the system and compensate the losses in the system. This bus maintains the balance of power in the system, and that is why it is a slack bus. So we have studied 3 kind of buses today in any power system network, which are generator bus, that is also known as PV bus, load bus, which is known as PQ bus, and slack bus, which is known as V and delta bus. It means voltage V and delta, these two are specified on these buses, while P and Q are variable quantities on these buses, which depends upon the losses in the system and used to compensate for the losses in the system, so that a better analysis can be done.